All right. Well, let's dive into it. We're moving to the X. What does that mean? That's right. But X in what? In Exxon. So we have really kind of wrapped up our e-marketing strategy, although I will be coming back with some updates and probably very soon an introduction to the new RE/MAX lead street, which is primarily just an interface. They haven't changed a lot of the functionality, but I know with your busy and productive schedules, you probably don't have time to work through all that. So I'm going to learn it, then we'll probably pop in a class that would be more related to e-marketing on that. But yes, we've moved from E to X. EXONN, these are 5 proven sources of leads. And the whole point of our Exxon program is let's not depend on the oil company Exxon to make us rich. Let's depend on our own commitment to be proactive on a daily basis, to be lead generators, lead converters. And if we'll do that, if we'll go on the hunt every day for leads, we will prosper regardless of what oil companies do or what the Houston economy does. And everything is cyclical, and I know we're at the top of the crest right now. All that means is it's inevitable that things are going to tighten up at some point, and that's when you're going to see the license schools empty out, and agents not able to afford their license renewals, and the cycle of boom and bust will continue. There's one agent who is not subject to boom and bust cycles, and that is the agent who is committed to being a lead generator. Good times or bad, they are going to prosper because people are always buying and selling homes, right? Regardless. Sometimes average sale prices go up, sometimes they go down, sometimes overall volume of transactions go up, sometimes go down, but the lead generator is always going to stay busy, always adapting, seeing where the business is. Is it distressed properties now? Is it luxury properties? Is it first-time home buyers? Is it sphere of influence? Always staying attuned to the market, keeping their skills sharp, and always doing very well. Expireds. You will see there are not a great many experienced agents in the room right now, okay? Because most of our experienced agents will tell you, as they've been telling me for the last week when they saw this on the schedule, oh Frank, I won't be coming to that class, okay? I did that 30 years ago when I was brand new, okay? Not doing that anymore. And besides, don't you know there aren't any expireds in this market? I mean, the big problem right now is pocket listings, right? We're selling them before they even get to the MLS. Shortage of inventory. How could there? Why are you teaching expireds? Okay. So let me just give this little disclaimer right up front. I checked in HAR the day before yesterday. From March 1st until that day, which I guess would have been the 25th or something, 24th, 25th, there had already been 350 expired and withdrawn listings within HAR since March 1st. Okay? So that's at a pace of about 30 expireds a day. Now granted, some of those are in Pearland or Katy or Clear Lake, which you may not consider your primary service area, but would you be willing to take a listing in Kingwood? Or Tomball, or Spring, or Conroe, or Willis, or Magnolia. If you're willing to cast a wide net on what you perceive to be your market area, there is absolutely opportunity. 30 new ones every day, and it's not just those that are expiring today that you have available to you. Do you realize that through HAR you can access thousands and thousands of expired sellers? All you have to do is go back a year or 2 or 3. Do you realize 2 or 3 years ago listings were expiring at the rate of about 100 a day because people couldn't sell their properties. The market was tight. Financing was nearly impossible to get. Do you realize a lot of people gave up in frustration, and now that the market is going well, many of them still have a desire to sell. The agents that I know right now who are doing the best with expired listings, are reaching back 2, 3, 4 years and contacting those expired sellers who may have been upside down on their property. They couldn't afford to sell because they were going to have to bring money to closing, right? Or they just weren't going to make enough to justify the aggravation. Well, now they can probably get out, make some money, perhaps make good money, and go move their life wherever they're wanting to go, okay? So don't believe all these experienced agents running around saying there's no expired sellers. There are literally thousands and thousands who need your services, okay? All right, let's dive in. Everybody got a book? Who needs a book? All right. We were just waiting for you, Dee Dee. We were just doing a little song and dance. Dee Dee will get here. All right. So here is the operational model as it relates to expired sellers. So let's walk through this very quickly. The first stage in the operational model is what? It's not on the page. You should know this by now. Okay. What is the first thing that we do in a real estate sales career to generate business? We prospect. Thank you. And there are 5 primary prospecting sources. This class is focused on one of them, expired sellers. Okay, so that's why this operational model just says expired. When we're prospecting, we are attempting to do what? Generate leads. Very specifically, we prospect to generate leads. There are 3 types of leads that we can generate: new, repeat, and referral. Expired sellers are specifically a new lead. So that's why it says new. So we're prospecting and expireds to get new. We have 2 departments in our business, sellers and buyers, right? So we prospect to generate leads, to convert those leads into buyers or sellers. In this case, sellers. That's what we're looking for. Okay? Now, by the way, could we get a buyer out of an expired campaign? Right, because if they're selling, they got to go somewhere. And a large percentage of the time, they're going local. Once we have them in a relationship, we care for them at a very high level. Now, let me say this. Once we complete our Exxon series, probably in May, through the summer, I already have a sense of what I want to focus on in our classes, and I think it's going to be 2 issues. One is basic sales skills, kind of sales skills 101, and then professionalism in our industry. How do we serve clients at a very high level? So to give them a wow experience so they keep coming back and referring us to others. And how do we maintain that professional relationship with the other co-op agents? In fact, today in New Agent ICU, I'm going to be asking you about great co-op experiences you've already had and bad co-op experiences. Okay, and so over the summer, we're going to be focusing heavily on client care systems. All right. Once we have a relationship, we can begin to market it. Yard signs, home ads, internet, and just listed. 5 marketing sources. 4 of them relate to the seller. That's why we say there's leverage in the listing. There's some leverage with a buyer client, but when you get a seller, worlds of opportunity open up. And there's 4 of them right there, and they are designed to generate additional leads. And the cycle of abundance continues. That's our operational model. Okay? Now, the specific strategy we're going to teach today is the call to close method. There are other methods of working expireds. Okay? You can have a mail campaign. You can have a door knock campaign. You could have an email campaign. But we are specifically going to teach the most efficient method of reaching out to expired sellers, which is to pick up the doggone telephone. Okay? I guess I should turn the mic. Oh, it is on. Very good. All right, so we're going to call them. That's why you have to be tough and have good acrobatic skills if you're going to sit on the back row. Don't trip. Okay. All right. Welcome, Janine. All right, so we're going to teach that. Related classes, listing conversion, pricing boot camp, and marketing boot camp. All that means is, in this class, we're not going to teach you what to do when you get to the kitchen table. This class is very narrowly focused on getting you to the kitchen table. Okay? It's a lead generation class. All right? So summary, Expired Boot Camp teaches the call to close method, which is a very direct, okay, one-on-one, person-to-person, proactive strategy for soliciting expired listings over the phone. Dialogue is taught in a progressive format, giving associates an opportunity to proceed with the technique at their own pace. All right? Plans, tools, scripts are provided. Basically, everything you need is provided. Again, you've heard me say this. We're going to give you the ability. When you walk out of this class, you will have the ability. What are you going to have to bring to the table?
Also, you have to remember that not to take it personal what they say to you.
Oh, don't get ahead. Don't get ahead. We're going to cover that. But let's finish this statement. I'm going to give you the ability. What do you have to bring to the table? What I can't give you, right? Willingness. Willingness. Readiness is a product of willingness and ability. Ready, willing, and able. I'm going to give you the ability. You have to bring the willingness, then you're ready. Okay? I can't motivate you. I can teach you. I can give you confidence, knowledge, and skills. What I'm not going to do is make the calls for you. Okay? That's what you have to do. So just understand that right up front. Oh, you didn't know, huh? Too late now. We got you. Okay. The financial consequences. Let's take a quick look at this page. If you're to commit to expireds as a source, in other words, this source of business is going to show up on your business plan. You know, you've got your financial requirement for your business, which translates to a transaction benchmark. A certain percentage of those are going to be from your listing department, and some of those are going to be from your expired strategy. Okay? This is what that looks like. If you're going to commit to it, this is what it looks like. You don't dabble in this source like you might dabble in open houses. You don't dabble in expireds. You really have to commit. So this shows a commitment of making 50 dials per week, only 5 per day, or it's 10 per day, 10 dials per day on a 5-day work week. Total for the year, 2,250, response rate of 15%. That means 15% of the time they answer the phone. Is that realistic? It is. In my experience, it is. Total talks, 338, a set rate of 7.5%. That means 1 out of every 15 people you talk to will agree to meet with you. They set an appointment. Okay? Total sets for the year, 25, a cancellation rate of 30%, right? They won't all be there. Okay? Or they'll cancel, or the lights will be off when you arrive. Total meetings, 18, a conversion rate of 50%, meaning you get the listing half the time. Total listings for the year, 9. Sales percentage of 50%. Would you agree that's highly conservative? Okay, ludicrously, if that's a word, conservative. So 5 deals for the year. Average GCI, on an expired seller, let's just say it's a $200,000 average sale price, so 6,000 GCI, so you're looking at $30,000 of income at a phase 1 conversion rate. Now in phase 2, which would be a maturity, phase 3 mastery, you're still having the same amount of input. You're still just making 10 dials a day. You're not putting in any more time. But because you've committed to the source and sharpened your skills and you have more confidence in what you're saying, your conversion rates are higher. And just by converting at a higher rate all through the process, you can move from 5 to 16 closings a year, from 16 closings to 47 closings a year. At 47 closings a year times a $6,000 average commission, would you agree you're probably going to fund most of your financial needs, okay, from one source? Now the strategy that I'm teaching you today is in the Abundant Warrior series. That was developed by David Scott. David developed and implemented these strategies at a Keller Williams office that was down at 249 in 1960, about 10 years ago. Of all the rookie agents he hired, and he hired hundreds of them, brand new licensees, the rookie who had the absolute best first year performance, which was $220,000 GCI, first 12 months, adopted this strategy. And what she said was, I'm not going to do anything else but expireds. But I am going to be the expired queen of Houston. Okay? That's it. That's where I'm planting my flag. And I'm going to do it. So, is there money to be made in expireds? Yeah, absolutely. And by the way, that was the worst year she ever had. Okay? So the financial consequences from this source can be outstanding. Now look with me at page 5. Here's the no, do, have of the call to close method. The call to close method is the do. That's what we're attempting to do. What do we need to know in order to do that? Opening dialogue, closing dialogue, power phrases, and conversational dialogue. What do all those things have in common? It's knowing what to say, right? That's the key differentiator of top producing agents from average agents, is they know what to say. Okay? That doesn't mean they know all the answers in every situation, but they're able to speak to any situation with confidence, even if that means, you know what, that's a fantastic question. Information in that area of our business is changing all the time. Let me look into it and I'll get back with you this afternoon. Is that a perfectly acceptable answer? Yeah, but if you speak it with confidence, that's what differentiates you from average or typical agent, okay? What do you have to have? A call list and a tracking sheet. That's it. Where can you get your call list? Where do we find expired sellers? In HAR. That's exactly right. Now you can't get the phone numbers from HAR, but I'm gonna speak into that as well. Okay? It's actually the easy part. Again, I'm gonna make that very plain for you. Yes, ma'am. Yeah, when I say expireds, I'm really speaking of withdrawals also, and we can throw in terminated listings as well. A terminated listing is a withdrawn listing.
Right.
Those are the same thing. So expireds and withdrawals.
Why do you think people withdraw listings?
Well, maybe their transfer gets canceled. Okay, they change their mind for some reason, or maybe they're just angry at their real estate agent. Okay. I mean, I coach you all the time to tell your seller clients that you'll give them an opt-out, no ongoing obligation. If this relationship is not satisfying them, either party can cancel it with 24 hours notice to the other. Okay? Either party may fire the other. That's right, with notice. It's a mutual relationship. But it's all kinds. I mean, there's all kinds of situations that change. I think I told you my story on my very first withdrawn from last fall, where the seller woman got out of the shower, wrapped in a robe, in a towel, and here's somebody breaking into her front door, gets a gun and goes and draws down on him and almost shoots him. And it was the inspector who did not make an appointment, whose buyer's agent never notified me, the listing agent. Okay, and the fallout from that traumatic experience caused the buyers to withdraw and forfeit not only their option fee but their earnest money, and caused my sellers to say, you know what, we think that's a sign we're not supposed to move. Okay, so stuff happens, right? There's all kinds of reasons why people withdraw. But yes, expireds and withdrawals, all those are within the scope of this class. Okay, so why call an expired? Very simply, statistics have shown that 90% of all expired sellers still have a desire to sell their home. Okay, it didn't work out, something went wrong, but they still have a desire to sell. Okay, so we call this fishing in a stocked pond. Okay, in our geographic farming strategy, we're just casting a wide net, right? We're just reaching out to every potential seller within a certain geographic area. But with expired sellers, oh my goodness, these are people who've indicated a definite interest in selling, and statistics show 90% of them still want to sell. Man, that's the potential high conversion rate right there. That's why we do it. So here we go. Why do expired sellers seem so irritated when called? Okay, by the way, that's why the experienced agents, by and large, are not in here, right? They're not going to subject themselves to this kind of expired seller abuse anymore. They don't have to, okay? Why are expired sellers so angry? Because they were in a 6-month unproductive relationship with an agent. Agent is in quotation marks, because we're going to teach you a strategy today to differentiate yourself from typical agent, to instead be a unique consultant, not typical. But when you call them, they are perceiving you to be in the role of typical agent. You are just like that agent who misled them, okay, into a 6-month, frustrating, aggravating, unproductive relationship, okay? That's why you have to have thick skin, right? And perceive that they're not rejecting you personally. They don't even know you, right? They are rejecting the role they perceive you to be playing. Okay, that's why they're angry. So Question, if you were promised reality on the front end, wouldn't you be a little irritated after discovering it was just an illusion on the back end? From the perspective of the seller, what is the reality they were promised by their listing agent? I can sell your house. Certainly within the listing period, 6 months. And that proved to be an illusion. Okay? That's why they're angry. Frankly, most of them have a right to be angry. Now, there's some 1 or 2% of the time when it's the seller fault. Okay? And by that I mean they were uncooperative on showings. Okay? They didn't open the home, they didn't clean the home, all kinds of issues like that, absolutely. But the vast majority of the time, it is the professional's responsibility for failure in the relationship. And most of the time, it's the professional agent's failure to properly educate the seller on the consequences of pricing high. Okay? That's where they failed. They were willing. Most agents are not stupid, by the way. Most agents who take an overpriced listing know that it's overpriced, and they know it's not going to sell. So why would they take it?
So they have visibility with other people with their sign up.
Yeah, they're willing to take a win-lose relationship. They know the seller's going to lose. The seller's not going to sell that house, but does the agent benefit? Short term, yes. I mean, you get sign calls, right? You get to advertise the property. You get buyer calls. Now, none of them are going to buy that property because it's overpriced, but you go sell them something else, right? You also get some visibility in the neighborhood. Your sign's out in the yard, right? And you can promote that just listed. But what happens 6 months later when the sign's all rusty and the vines are growing over the top of it, okay? I mean, then you get a reputation in the community, you know, don't list your house with him. His houses don't sell, okay? They don't know it's an overpriced listing. All they know is your sign's in the front yard and that house ain't moving when everything else is, okay? Win-lose relationships always turn into lose-lose relationships. So you never want to sacrifice a long-term win-win for a short-term gain. All right? Just very quickly, let's go through the emotional life cycle of an expired seller. The first month their home goes on the market, or the first week, it's a lot of showing activities. The agent is communicating with them very well. The client's emotions are very excited. 1 month in, the showings are slowing, right? Getting kind of stale on the market, but the agent's still talking. They're still hoping something's going to pop. Somebody's going to fall in love with the house, but the client's starting to feel a little bit rejected. You know, we've had 15 showings on my home and no offers. What, they don't like my mauve carpeting? What, you know, what is it? We love this home. Why doesn't anybody else love it? 3 months in, showings, very limited. Agent contact, little. I mean, it's a little awkward now, isn't it? Agent doesn't want to talk to the seller. They don't know they don't want to answer those questions. The client's positively depressed 3 months in. Oh, but this is a 6-month contract. No showings, no agent contact, and now the seller is mad. Okay? That listing expires on day 180. Day 181, sweet little Stacy calls them on the phone, and how are they going to react? Okay? They perceive her to be in the same role that this agent was who misled them. I can sell your home, and they couldn't. Okay? So that's why they're angry. Now, so let's get into the meat of it. The main purpose of your call is simply to set an appointment. When you call an expired seller, you are not trying to sell your services. You're not trying to demonstrate your value. You're just trying to create enough separation or distinction from their listing agent that they agree to meet with you, and that's it. Set the appointment. That's the goal. The rationale behind the call is the same. Let's sit down and talk and see if I'm a viable option for you. You're not making promises over the phone, although if we have to, we will. Okay? But all you're saying there is, hey, let's just get together and have a conversation. Let's put another set of eyes on this. Let's put our heads together and see if we can't develop a plan for getting your home sold. Okay? A very low-key, soft but persistent approach. Okay, that's the rationale. By the way, you should be willing to call expired sellers if you are confident that you can add value to their desire to sell. Okay? i.e., if you are confident that you can get their home sold. By the way, do you know what it takes to sell houses? Do you know what two factors always cause homes to sell? Price and okay, I'm hearing marketing. I'm going to accept that. It's price and exposure. Exposure and marketing are synonyms, okay? Price and exposure. 90% of the exposure requirement is satisfied when you put that home on the MLS with 32 quality photos. Now, there's more you can do, right? You can make videos, you can do virtual tours, you can take out print ads. 90% is satisfied by putting on the MLS with 32 quality photos. So that leaves what? Price. Price and exposure. Price and exposure. Now the home was exposed, right? In the previous, if it was on the MLS. So why didn't it sell? It was priced incorrectly. It was 90% of the time listings expire because they're priced incorrectly. And Linda, I heard you say location. Location is a function of price. Okay? A home right next door to a cement factory, okay, will sell in the next 10 minutes if it's priced right. Okay? So great locations command higher prices, poor locations lower prices, but any location will sell if priced appropriate to the location. Okay? So you have to get that in your head. I can sell any home. I can sell any home, any condition, any location, anywhere in Houston, because I know how to expose it properly and I know how to price it right. Okay? If you internalize that, you're going to have confidence when calling these expired sellers. If you don't believe that, then you're going to hesitate to call them. You're going to perceive yourself to be in the same role as their listing agent who let it expire, right? But if you're like, no, I know the answer. I know what causes homes to sell. All right? Let me help these people. I know they're frustrated and angry, but I want to hang in there with them because I know I have the solution. And I know they want to shoot the messenger, but I can help them. And because that's my role, that's the profession that I've chosen, I almost have a moral obligation to be persistent in reaching out to them because I know it's going to be so much better for them on the other side. Okay? All right, to do that, you have to be mad. And I don't mean mad, crazy mad, right? Mad meaning mentally tough, right? To work through the rejection because they're going to be angry. They're going to vent that anger on you. You've got to be able mentally tough, right? Absolutely committed. In other words, I'm not just going to do this today. I'm not just going to make 3 calls and I'm not doing that again, right? Or 3 days or 4 days. If this is part of my business plan, and I'm demanding 3 closings in my business this year from my expired department, then doggone it, I'm just going to hang in there until I get my 3 closings. Okay? I just know that this no, this no, this no, this no, this no is the door to that yes. And I keep on going. Okay? And then detached from the outcome. And all that means is you almost have to take like a Zen-like approach to working with expireds. Okay? It doesn't really matter if I get this one or not. If this one hates me or this one loves me. Because I know it's a numbers game. And I'm just going to offer my services persistently to everybody who has an expired home in the area where I'm willing to take listings. And whether they say no or whether they say yes, I know it's just part of the process. And whatever happens today, I'm going to do the same thing tomorrow. I'm going to do the same thing the next day. Okay? So you don't get on this emotional roller coaster up and down because the client's bringing enough emotion to the table. You want to be that slightly detached professional who cares about the client but doesn't so much care about the outcome. You're just offering your services. What they do with it is up to them. Okay? Y'all, does that make sense? Okay, so here we go. Getting on the proper channel. Before you make your calls, now the workbook calls for a 20-minute warm-up procedure. That's probably important when you're just starting. Once you get into this, you'll internalize the scripts and it will not take that long to get ready to rock and roll. Okay? But the 20-minute warm-up is review your mission, vision, values. Why would that be important when calling expired sellers? Yeah, I mean, the mission of my business, and I don't know how you have phrased the mission of your business, but should be something along the line of helping buyers and sellers, of serving buyers and sellers. So why am I about to do what I'm about to do? Because I'm here to help people. That's what I'm committed to in my career. And do expired sellers need help? Absolutely. Okay? So you just get in touch with your mission again. Okay? Review the 10 core listing beliefs, which we'll take a look at in just the next page. Rehearse the expired scripts aloud for 10 minutes. And initially, out loud rehearsal is going to be vital, because your brain has to hear those words coming out of your mouth if you're going to internalize it. What you don't want to do is call an expired seller and start reading a script to them. I mean, they'll see right through that. That's so phony. But if you'll say these things out loud several times, then you can close the book and they'll just start to come out naturally. That's the stage you want to get to, okay? And then visualize successful conversations and outcomes for 5 minutes, okay? Yeah, a lot of them aren't going to answer the phone, 85%. Those that do answer the phone, most of them are not going to agree to meet with you, but you want to focus on the positive. Like there is a seller out there who is going to say yes to my offer of assistance, and visualize that. I had kind of a funny experience yesterday. I was teaching this class in Kingwood. At 5 minutes till 10, so 5 minutes till the time class starts, I get a lead pop through on an internet lead in my email. And there was a brand new licensee sitting on the front row. And I said, well, you know what, let's just do this live and let you see how we do buyer conversion calls. And so I just picked up the phone and called the guy, thinking what? What's going to happen? I'm going to teach the guy how to leave a nice voicemail message, right? Because 85% of the time they don't answer, right? This guy answered the phone. And so we started talking, and I said, I understand you're looking for a $100,000 3-2 in the Tomball area, and asked a couple basic questions. And he says, well, you know, actually I'm looking for several. I'm an investor. And we go down that track. And he said, also, I want to buy some apartment complexes. Do you have some 4-plex, 8-plex, 12-plex? I've got a lot of money backing me up, and I want to move forward. And I mean, I just can't believe this is going on, you know, live in front of the class. And so I had 5 minutes after 10 minutes, I'm like, okay, if you would really excuse me, I'm going to have to sign off. I'm late for a class, but I promise I'll get back with you this evening with some properties for you to look at. And I was able to follow up with him last night. But that's the call, okay? That's going to be in my mind from now on. Every time I pick up the phone, either to do outbound prospecting or respond to an inbound buyer inquiry, right? I'm like, this could be another Larry. This could be a Larry. This could be the one. If it's not, that's okay. That's just one more on the way to my next Larry, okay? So just have a mental image that's going to reinforce positive outcome for you. Okay? By the way, does everybody have one like that? Anybody have a property desk call that's just like, oh yeah, this could be that one, right? Okay. So get those in your mind. During the call, energy is the key, so stand up, remain upbeat, positive. If you like using a headset, sometimes those are really good to enable you some freedom of movement. Stay hydrated. Your brain's 80% water. And by the way, you get most of that from coffee. Just stay hydrated. And then after each call, rate it, okay? How did that go? Whew, that was a little rough, okay? Oh, what could I have done better? Well, maybe I should have used a different script. What script? Well, that script. And go through it a couple times so that when you're in that situation again, that's the script, you know, that rolls off of your tongue, okay? Calls should be made behind closed doors so you can totally focus on the vital task at hand. By the way, we're going to violate that principle next week, okay? No, that we won't. We'll close that door. Okay, but we're going to do a clinic next week, which I'll tell you more about at the end of the class today. All right, here are those 10 basic listing beliefs. Let's do a quick review on them. Homes sell for 2 reasons. You all know that, right? What are they? Price and exposure. That you should internalize that price and exposure. To the extent you internalize that and believe that, you will speak with confidence to sellers, whether they're expireds or anybody else. Just going on a competitive listing conversation. If you know what causes houses to sell, you're going to carry yourself with confidence. 95% of all buyers are realtor represented. Why is that an important belief when you're dealing with expired sellers? There you go. That's an option that many expired sellers consider. Well, I tried that realtor thing, that didn't work. I'm just going to put a for sale by owner sign in the front yard. Again, that's not our decision to make, is it? It's their decision, but what's our role? We are consultants, right? We clarify options and consequences. So Mr. and Mrs. Seller, absolutely you can do that. But are you aware that 95% of all buyers are realtor represented? So you are automatically locking yourself out from 95% of the buying public. Now I know you've just come through an extremely frustrating 6 months, and it looks to me like you're setting yourself up for an even more frustrating 6 months. Okay? So internalize that belief.
I have a question. It's kind of based on something you just said. 6 months. Why would a seller stick around with someone for like a year?
Yeah, okay. Why would a disgruntled seller stick with an agent for a long period of time, 6 months or even a year? First of all, many of them aren't aware that they can get out of the contract, okay? And the contract is not written with an easy out. And so there's some justification for that belief, okay? And that's why I encourage you to have that conversation with your sellers and even write it in special provisions, because you don't want to stay in a relationship with a disgruntled seller. That's just going to rob you of energy, and it's going to be a frustrating experience. Let them go, because we live in a world of what? Abundance. That's right. Okay, 3, realtors are not looking through home ads or taking virtual tours. They're not looking at FSBO.com, right? Or picking up the Homes magazine at Kroger to find homes. Where are they looking? Where do realtors find homes? The MLS, right? So your home needs to be listed with a realtor. Homes sell in all 4 quarters. Why is that important? That's right. Their listing agent explained to them why their home didn't sell. It's because homes only sell really January through May, right? Or February through August, and here we are in November, okay? Homes not only sell in all 4 quarters, homes sell how often?